to SHECP Talks. Through this space, guests will have an opportunity to share valuable insights, experiences, and lessons learned throughout their time at SHECP. Joining us today is Stephanie Rolph, Academic Director for SHECP. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
It's great to have you here with us today. Stephanie, with the SHECP 2021 Summer Internship Program underway, can you share with us a bit about the year's activities and the overall academic programming taking place?
Absolutely. Our program theme we're especially excited about this year really grew out of the events of the summer of 2020 and the visibility that a lot of people were experiencing in terms of racial reckoning and justice, and also sort of walking alongside our 2020 interns as they were watching historic events unfold in the midst of a global pandemic. But really the impact of George Floyd and thinking about Breonna Taylor and a number of other racial injustices that our students were engaging with throughout the summer really led us as an organization to think about how we could engage with those questions of racial justice and equity in a more direct way. And so much of the work that SHECP does related to poverty intervention and disruption is really challenging our students to get into that space where they can recognize the multiple factors that play into economic disparity and the multiple approaches to solutions that we want them to seek out, especially related to innovation. And so the theme of intersectionality and the intersection of race with poverty and vice versa seemed like an obvious direction for us to go in for 2021. And so we moved into that space early, shortly after the 2020 internship ended, and identifying ways that we could get students into that program, knowing that we were still working within an ongoing pandemic that brought a lot of uncertainty with it. So as we built the program for 2021, what we wanted to do was we wanted to separate the work that the students were doing related to the intersectionality theme from the internship itself. So we actually pulled a lot of our academic programming into the month of May, so that they did a fair amount of programming before the internship even started. So when they came into the opening conference, and on June 3rd, they were actually able to kind of come in with a fair amount of preparation under their belt and thinking about the ways in which social change can happen, the role that intersectionality plays in that, and how they might take some of those lessons into the internship with them. So we structured a program that would have them doing some independent work, using primary sources, using data collection, using individual podcasts on economic disparity, and thinking through different aspects of the intersectionality theme. And then we brought in and organized four keynote addresses throughout the summer that really kind of leverage the way in which we can move from intersectionality as a theory towards intersectionality as practice. And so now that they're in the internship, they've just started their second week of the internship, they're in that space where they can really engage with the work of experts in the field who are actually aimed at solutions and are doing work that our students can sort of emulate as they're doing their work in their internship and as they come out of the internship at the end of the summer. So we have featured Patricia Hill Collins, who's a scholar of the field and well recognized in the area of intersectionality. We just finished a keynote that is based on the Black Women Best position paper that the Roosevelt Institute supported, and it was co-authored by Janelle Jones and Kendra Bozarth, that talked about the ways in which if we use what's best for Black women for achieving equity, then that's something that can really benefit everybody. And so asking our keynote speakers last week, Ann Price and Kendra Bozarth, really challenged our interns to think about the value of centering Blackness, which is the vision that they use when they're doing their economic equity work. And centering Blackness as sort of the framework for doing social equity work. Next week, we will be featuring a healthcare group that is working on anti-racist practices in cancer care and how we could take anti-racism as a platform for improving healthcare equity. Our fourth keynote of the year will be in July, and that is actually going to feature a couple of climate researchers who look at the disproportionate impact of climate change on low-income communities of color, so that we're actually able to engage the question of environmental justice as something that intersects with race and with poverty as well. So I hope in the process of that, we'll kind of get around a number of different topics. Our students come from dozens of disciplines and majors, and they have a number of different career paths that they're pursuing at this point in their life. And so the more diverse expertise that we can platform, the better, so that they can see the variety of ways that you can engage in this work, depending on where your particular passion and training is.
It's wonderful. So many opportunities to learn from so many different spaces within these different studies. And with the students that are participating this year, they're interns, I understand that there has been a switch as to how the internships are taking place. Can you share a little bit about that with us?
Sure. Traditionally, SHEP has designed a program with in-person internships across, a number of cities, 17 or 18 cities across the country. When COVID interrupted that in 2020, we ended up going fully remote, as so many programs and universities and colleges had to do. This year, we're taking advantage of the flexibility that provided, not only for the interns, but also for our community partners, so that we have a number of students who are doing in-person internships, but we also have a number who will continue to engage remotely with their agencies. And we have some students who are doing a combination of both in a hybrid format. So they may be living in the city where their agency is, but they're actually, showing up in person and doing some work on their own in the city, engaging remotely in that. So that's kind of a new, it's a new model that is really showing us what the value of a more flexible approach can be, so that SHEP itself can practice more equity across our spaces in providing access to all of our students, regardless of what their unique situation may be.
That is wonderful. And, that increased access has definitely increased the number of participants as well, right?
Right. We have more interns this summer than we ever have. We're at 157 for the summer. 23 colleges and universities have sent students into the program, and we're incredibly gratified by that and looking at the opportunities that opens up for us.
That is wonderful. That is so exciting to hear. So with the idea of that flexibility in mind, as far as being able to access the different activities and programming, for the members of the SHEP community who are not currently participating as interns, but still want to participate, and be part of the different keynote events and possibly other activities, they're still happening virtually, correct?
Yes, correct. Everything is happening via Zoom.
Awesome. So where should they go to register to participate in these events?
So if you go to our website, shepherdconsortium.org, and you click on the events tab, all of our keynotes are listed. In addition, if you're not able to catch an event while it's happening, our YouTube channel has recorded keynotes that are posted as well. And one of the exciting things I think in thinking beyond the interns who are participating in this work is that our faculty, staff, and community partners across the SHEP community have the opportunity to utilize those resources as something that enhances their own work and their own awareness of some of the more innovative things that are happening in the field. So I imagine, that some of those keynote presentations may be helpful to our faculty members, for example, who may want to feature one of those recorded events in one of their classes to engage some questions about how intersectionality is practiced across different spaces.
That is a wonderful opportunity for the community to participate. Thank you for that. And just generally speaking, Stephanie, if anyone has any questions about the program, where should they contact you?
So they can always email me. I'm at rolphsc@shepherdconsortium.org. And, you know, we also would encourage folks to continue to visit the website and learn more about the program.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Stephanie. And thank you so much for joining us today on SHEP Talks and sharing about the wonderful experiences and insights that are being produced and shared throughout the summer. Until next time.
Thanks, Stephanie.